My fiancé doesn't take no for an answer. Give me advice please. Edit number 2. I just talked to him about this. He cried and said he didn't want to look at me right now. He feels really bad and he said he didn't realize the pain he put on me. Now I'm chain-smoking cigarettes and crying. I don't know what to do or how to feel. Edit. Is there any way to fix this and still be a couple in the end? Is there any way to talk to him and fix it? I've never been through this before and I need someone's opinion besides my own. Me and my fiancé have been living together for around 6 months now and have ultimately been together for almost 4 years. My sex drive has gone down tremendously since we moved in together for various reasons while his has stayed the same. On so many occasions, he gets horny while I'm not. He asks me for sex and I decline. He asks me again and pushes himself into me and I decline. No matter how many times I say no and push him away, he keeps asking, feeling my body, and begging me for sex. A couple times he's continued after my decline. A couple times he's kept going and put it in anyways. It always feels incredibly hurtful and disrespectful afterwards. Sometimes I give in after initially saying no, not because I'm actually feeling it but more in fear that he'd watch porn, which makes me also uncomfortable. I want him to feel attracted to me and get his needs met from me, but sometimes I just don't feel up to it. Calling this marital rape or whatever makes me feel like I'm being overdramatic. Our relationship is great besides this and he's my person. But the way it made me feel was not okay and my consent was very obviously not there and he pushed on anyways. He knew. I've been struggling with this in my head for a minute now and getting better at putting my foot down when he begs me for sex. I don't know what to do though and where to go from here. I feel disrespected and hurt for sure, but I'm also not going to leave him. Help. A couple times he's continued after my decline. A couple times he's kept going and put it in anyways. That's literal rape. No prefixes or suffixes, no qualifiers. I feel disrespected and hurt for sure, but I'm also not going to leave him. That's a shame. You shouldn't stay with someone who disregards consent. That's not disrespect. That's rape. You need to leave. So he rapes you, you call him on it, and now he can't look at you? Honey, he's a great asshole. Honey, it is rape. And I'm sorry. But I need you to know that he knows you're not enjoying any of what's happening and he doesn't care at all, and that's disgusting of him. Please get out of this relationship. Could you imagine having sex with someone when you know they aren't enthusiastic about it? I bet not. That is rape. Plain and simple. Please do not marry this man. At the very least put the wedding on hold until you guys seek serious counseling. That is rape. You are not being overdramatic. Your feelings are very valid and it is rape. You're also right that it is disrespectful. It's rape. This next part is very important. Leave him. He doesn't value you as an autonomous person. He most likely sees you as a fuckdoll, that's it. That isn't a healthy relationship and you'll save years of torment later on by leaving now. If you go to leave and he starts to say how much he loves you and he'll promise he'll change, he doesn't and he won't. It's a lie to keep you with him. If he truly loved you, he wouldn't rape you. You're not being overly dramatic when you call it what it is, rape. I don't see why you're not leaving a person that is overstepping your boundaries, that is disrespectful and rapes you whenever he's horny. Don't let his crocodile tears fool you. This is just another manipulation technique by an abuser, to act like the victim and to get you to feel sorry for him and forgive him. Don't fall for it. 26F. Just found my boyfriend, 28M, on an adultery sub. We have been together for a total of 5 years. I always felt like I was going to marry this guy, but I guess not. Recently, I installed Reddit because my friend recommended it. I learned how to use it correctly after a while, and spent a lot of time on here, usually exploring new subs. I was reading a thread on an infidelity sub where someone mentioned an adultery sub that's for cheaters. Out of curiosity, I clicked on it and got hooked. It's filled with remorseless cheaters and reading their posts made me cringe, but it was also interesting to know the cheaters' perspective and how horrendous they are. I was reading one of the posts and the situation that the person was talking about felt very similar to an incident that happened a few days ago with my boyfriend and I. The username was the name of my boyfriend's dead dog along with the dog's birthday. My stomach literally sunk. I opened the profile and spent a full hour going through everything. I'm 100% sure that it's my boyfriend. So many posts align with everything he's been up to these days. I had some honorable mentions as well. His profile is filled with him asking for advice about how to regulate his relationship with the woman he's been cheating on me with, and the shocker part is that everyone on that sub actually gives him advice. Yesterday, I asked him if he had read it, and this man refused before he could blink. He said that he found Reddit boring and had deleted it a long time ago. I also snooped through his phone and found nothing, which means he's using his laptop. The password he had told me some time ago didn't work, so there's that. I've been hoping for so long that I've got the wrong guy, but every time I go back to confirm, I become even more positive that it's him. To think that all the times when I thought he was at his parents' house or was hanging out with his friends or was staying back at work, he'd actually been with another woman, makes me want to bloody disintegrate. How can these people be so cold and cruel? How can he betray me like this? Everything feels like a shitty dream. What do I do now? Do I break it to him that I'm aware of his secret Reddit account? My friend told me to monitor his activities and catch him red-handed, so should I do that? Is there something else that I can do about all this? I can't think straight, my head is a mess. Too long did not read. Found boyfriend on an adultery sub, crying and throwing up. What the fuck do I do? Break it off. You deserve better than this. Don't bother waiting around to catch him red-handed, you already have. If y'all lived together, I'd pack his shit and have it sitting on the front lawn for him when he gets home from work today, and I'd tell him you know everything and just leave it at that. He's not worth the fight and you deserve better. Yes, that sub is by far, emo, the worst sub here on Reddit. I got banned from there 2 years ago after calling them out and contacting a spouse lol. Those guys and gals will make, and be, alibis for one another, give cheating tips, contact each other and set up faux date nights, to fool partners. Also that they may cheat in peace etc. Fuck that entire sub and anybody that subscribes to our adultery. Explain nothing, leave immediately. He's an actual piece of shit. I'm sorry that you had to find out this way, but their arrogance always does them in. Remember that cheaters are vile human beings and are unredeemable to those they've irreparably broken. There is no sympathy for him. Let the trash see its way out and figure this out alone. It's time to come in with the evidence, otherwise you're gonna go nuts. Don't waste your time trying to get evidence. He's just a boyfriend, so you don't need to go to court. Just break up with him without reason. That'll get to him more than anything, because then he can't feed you white lies and promises he won't keep. Just leave without giving him any explanation. So not only is he a cheating liar, he's a dumbass who put his treachery out in the open. You know what to do over there, speaking head. You didn't take our advice from the last time your boyfriend was a dick then. DUMPHIM. My 28 female, fiancé, 27 male, says he dumped me if I cheated and this is upsetting me. Yes, this sounds very strange. No, I haven't cheated, just to cut that off at the pass. My fiancé and I have been together 7 years. We're planning on getting hitched last year, but the pandemic kicked that out of the window and now that's on indefinite hold, as we both agreed we aren't so bothered by the notion of marriage and want to wait until we can have the massive blowout wedding that everyone can attend that we've been so keen on and saved for. One of the things we've had in common right from the start is we both become the same type of person when we're drunk. We both get really tactile and flirty and lovey-dovey with whoever happens to be around. Boundaries go out of the window a little on that front. Well, when we both got together, a large part of our social life was parties with lots of booze. But shortly after, I got an internship, followed by job after job, that wasn't compatible with that. So my fiancé had a period of about a year where he would attend without me before he also got a job that meant that sort of thing wasn't really possible. During that time, I later found out, while drunk he kissed, made out with some random women. This happened on like, 4 occasions. I didn't find out until after the last one had happened, shortly before he started the job. While I was upset at first, I later realized it wasn't the act that had upset me, it was the implications of it. Normally when people cheat, it means they aren't happy or want to leave their partner, right? But I realized that wasn't the case here. He was none of those things, he was just drunk and happy, and those women happened to be present and willing. I wouldn't say I was enthusiastic about it, but once I made that jump, it felt like no biggie. And I probably would have been okay with it happening again as just part of a standard night out for him if it had happened. Like, some people get drunk and have incredibly intimate heart-to-hearts with random folks where they reveal things that they haven't told their partner, and I think I'd probably be more upset over that than a little tongue action. But like I say, job happened, so it didn't, and barring his profuse apologies at the time, it didn't really come up again. None of this has come up in years, actually, until last week where we were discussing another post on this sub. And he suddenly busted out the belief that cheating, any kind of cheating, at all, is totally unforgivable and an instant relationship ender no matter the length of time or circumstances surrounding the incident. There is never any excuse. Cheaters are all morally bankrupt and horrendous human beings. It's practically abuse, etc., etc. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are lots of folk out there for who that hard line is admirable and exactly what they want to hear. But this gave me pause. I did point out that if that's the case, what does that make him, based on those actions years ago? And did that mean if I got up to the same stuff now that he did, he'd end it with me? His response was that was because he was young and stupid, and it wasn't the same, and if I did it now, yes he'd dump me, because I'm not young anymore so I don't have that excuse. And we've tabled it since then because honestly, this has really upset me, and I am struggling to get him to understand why. I don't think those incidents were because he was young and stupid. I think they are reflective of who he is. We have been drunk together in company since then and he has flirted with other women during it, even if he ended up focusing on me by the end of the night. So it's not like that part of his personality isn't present, it's just not had the opportunities he did back then. It feels like I did a lot of emotional work back then to accept him as he is, and he isn't willing to do the same back for me? Honestly, I'm really hurt that in his hypothetical world, one drunken smooch would be enough for him to pull the plug on 7 years of shared lives and everything we built together. When I loved him enough that multiple incidents and hiding it from me wasn't enough for me to pull the plug at less than 2 years in. Am I making sense? Is this me being strange or him being unforgiving or both of us or some fundamental incompatibility that we've somehow not noticed before? In my darker moments, I've even wondered about calling everything off and ending the relationship because if he values it so little, I'm just setting myself up for failure. But that is me overreacting, right? I guess I just need to hear someone else's thoughts on things, because I don't really want to have to expose his cheating years ago to my family and current friends because, highly ironically, I worry it would negatively impact their opinion of him. TLDR. My fiancé is utterly unforgiving in the face of hypothetical cheating despite the fact he cheated in the past, and this is really hurting my feelings. I have no idea how to process this. TBH, I'm not sure why his line of thought is so shocking to you. A person in a monogamous relationship who goes into a social situation knowing they have no real boundaries and openly cheats multiple times, and doesn't tell you until much later LMAO, isn't someone who cares about your feelings. He then further illustrated how much he doesn't care by excusing his own behavior while telling you the same behavior from you would result in a breakup. This is hypocrite behavior. Your partner is a cheater. And I can guarantee with an attitude like that he has probably done worse than kissing. That's why he's so hardline now. He knows what he did and doesn't care about anyone but himself. Stop justifying and excusing his behavior if you don't want to be treated like shit. Just because you can get over your partner cheating doesn't mean he has to return it when you do it. Doesn't make him less of a huge ass hypocrite. But if he wants to dump you if you cheated, that is up to him. You don't get a free pass because you forgave him. Alcohol is not an excuse for cheating behavior. Not for him, not for you, not for anyone. Sounds like projection. Sometimes the person protesting the most is the one doing the act. I highly recommend you both go to couples counseling before getting married, if you still wish to. The boundaries must be the same for both of you, not him dictating what you both can or cannot do. No offense, but you're the one who's choosing to stay with a cheater. He's a hypocrite that wouldn't extend you the same grace that you extended him. Of course you're upset with him. He's revealed that there are different rules in place for you and him. In fact, for him and the rest of the world, not just you. He's rushing to judgment of someone who does the thing that he did while excusing the times he did it. Don't get married without some relationship counseling. If he doesn't realize that rules apply to everyone, I don't see a future with him, as he'll continue to keep different rules for him versus others, and it will show up in lots of other ways. Wow. Have some self-respect. This is beyond pathetic. Lol. So essentially his excuse for cheating, or in this case making out with someone that wasn't his partner, was that he was young? Kinda funny. The ol, if I do it to you, it's okay because I was intoxicated and immature, but if you do it to me, all bets are off. Cringe. He is a cheater with double standards. Not really marriage material. I say he is because by his standards he is. This, I was young, is just that an excuse. This would be a deal breaker for me. Am I, 26F. Marrying a manchild, 26M. Too long did not read. Long story short, I've become increasingly worried over the past 6 or so months that my fiancé might be a manchild. He's a kind person and a good friend, but I'm starting to worry he is a bad partner. Should we break up, postpone the wedding, or stay the course and get married? Context. We have been dating for 8 years and engaged for 1. We started dating in high school, stayed together long distance through college, and even continued dating long distance while I was in medical school and he was working in a different state. We moved in together back in June 2021, but we were spending 3-4 days a week together in college and random 1-2 week periods together since I started medical school. Our relationship was pretty good for the first 7 years. We definitely went through our fair share of ups and downs as a young couple living apart, but we were able to solve a lot of our problems through better communication as we grew older and more mature. He proposed last Christmas, and I was very excited to start planning for our married life together. But these last 6 months have given me some serious cold feet. The only thing that has changed in the past 6 months is that we've finally moved in together, full-time. I have also picked up a lot more work. I'm working full-time in 1 research lab, paid, part-time in 2 others, and studying for a huge medical certification exam, step 1 for those who know. We also got a dog and a cat that we really love and have a lot of fun with. Problems. 1. He rarely cooks or cleans. I used to be the primary housekeeper before I took on the new work listed above. Given that my time is short and his work hours are less than mine, we thought it would be fair for him to assume most of the cooking and cleaning. Problem is, he says he hates cooking and will only cook maybe 1-2 meals per week. Everything else is frozen food. He also rarely cleans and often says he doesn't know how to clean something, like he never cleaned a sink before, or says my standards for cleanliness are too high. This trend is generally concerning to me because we've talked about him being a stay-at-home parent in the future when I am a resident doctor working crazy hours. I figured now would be a good time for him to get used to household chores, but he now says he would just rather hire a maid than do the work himself. I think this would be bad role modeling for the future kids. 2. He has new anger management issues that never happened in the first 7.5 years of dating. For example, we can be playful, like smacking each other on the butt, hand, etc. Very normal stuff. However, there have been 2 incidents when we were arguing and after the argument, he did a playful slap much harder than usual. I confronted him both times, and he admitted to hitting me out of anger and trying to hide it as being playful. He's also yelled at me a handful of times, too. I grew up in an abusive household and have resolved to never hit or yell at anyone else, ever. I'm really confused at how we went 7 years without hitting, yelling, and just now these behaviors have started to surface. He has been going to counseling for anger management, and I think it's been helpful. 3. He's also developed an upsetting tendency to roll his eyes at me or say something sarcastic when he's angry. I've told him multiple times how these actions make me feel disrespected. When I ask him to stop the disrespectful behaviors, he tells me that I'm treating him like a child. 4. He has stopped defending me when family issues arise. One specific example: we made plans with my family for Thanksgiving. Being my back, he told his mom on Thanksgiving Day that we would go to his family's house, too. Well, the dinners ended up being set for the same time. I told him we committed to my family weeks ago, so that commitment should take priority. He said his mom sounded really upset and he couldn't bear to hurt her, so he argued we should spend Thanksgiving with his family instead. Well, we ended up canceling on my family and just went to his house instead. I also got an earful from his sister about how he should just leave me behind next time since I was making plans, too complicated. His biologic family is more important than me. His mom is very sensitive, etc. 5. He is super forgetful. When I'm sick and ask him to go to the store to buy medicine, he comes back with a soda for himself and forgets the medicine. He forgets food in the oven and lit a fire in the house. He always forgets to flush the toilet or wash his hands. He even forgets to shower and change his underwear sometimes. 6. He can be spacey and clueless, too. When I'm working the night shift, I'll take a nap on the couch after work. He often plays the TV loudly or lets our dog jump all over me despite me trying to sleep after being up for 24-36 hours. He will also fall asleep in the middle of talking to me sometimes. It's very weird because he never falls asleep on his friends like this, just me. 7. This one is kind of hard to explain, but he often complains of feeling like he is walking on eggshells all the time. He says me asking him to do chores, buy me medicine from the store, etc. makes him anxious now. He says he is scared of failing at the tasks because me being disappointed intimidates, shames him, so he doesn't want to try to help with things sometimes. I find this very weird. I'm basically not allowed to ask him to help with chores or it upsets his anxiety. Yet he is the one who is walking on eggshells. 8. We've had a dead bedroom for 2-3 months now. I've been sleeping on the couch for 4 months or so. I don't really feel attracted to him anymore. He's objectively attractive, but something just turns me off now. His presence just seems to bother me now. I stopped at bullet point number 2. Time to dump this dude. There are quite a few concerning things I see here that don't bode well for the future. I'll start with the biggest being number 2. He hit you in anger. That's abuse. Maybe I'm misinterpreting what you wrote. I wouldn't forgive this, but at the very least you need couples therapy. I'd hold off on getting married just based on number 2. All these show you who you will actually be living with. I don't think he respects you at all, and you seem like a very strong, well-rounded, and successful person who deserves far better than all of the problems listed. You are giving 100% on everything it seems here while he might give you 10%. Here's another perspective. Honey, you only just started living together in June, but you've been sleeping on the couch since August? Quite apart from all the other points you raise, this is a huge red flag. Have you two talked through the fact that your romantic relationship couldn't even last 2 continuous months without him hitting you twice? Has he even offered to take the couch for your comfort? Sorry, but your relationship is already dead. If you agree to separate now and you may salvage your friendship. Run. Seriously, run. If communicating with him has done nothing to help create a resolution, just imagine what your life will be like in a year, 5, 10? It sounds like you have ambition and he wants a mommy. You deserve a partner. Do not marry this guy. This relationship sounds pretty toxic and you're already over it. So since you moved in you have now seen who you really would be marrying. You need to break off the engagement and move out. I am begging you not to marry this guy. Listen to your gut, the cold feet is real. He's abusive, lazy and immature. He is not someone you should spend the rest of your life with. If you marry him, it'll be even harder to leave later on. Please listen to all these signs telling you this relationship isn't working. I know he seems completely incapable and clueless, but everything I'm reading is screaming manipulator and calculating. Even just the way he hits you. He knows if he hits your ass instead of like your face you will be more likely to brush it off as innocent. Even though hitting anyone anywhere out of anger is horrible. You seem like such a smart and mature person, and I guarantee once you leave a weight will be lifted off. Just simply imagine you having your own place again, an apartment that will stay clean when you clean it, your own bed to sleep in, and no one yelling at you. And you should be scared of the alternative if you don't leave. I can't imagine sharing finances or children with this man. You deserve to have peace.